I tell you what, let's take a pine tree and turn it into liquid soldering resin. Alright, we're going to take a rubber mallet, some duct tape, an old plastic bottle, and in this case, a piece of small copper pipe and a drill. And we're going to make liquid soldering resin out of it. Okay, so this is a video that I have had in the works since September of 2024. And I'm going to need some isopropyl alcohol and some of this green stuff. What we are looking at doing is creating flux for soldering. And what I have in here is pine resin, and I'll get around to why it's green, and isopropyl alcohol. Pretty sure once it's all said and done, I'll have about half of one of these. Now, I'm not giving this time to dry out. I'm going to see how it does straight out of the tree collected, and then mix isopropyl alcohol. So I'm going to start with putting a little bit of this in the bottle here. Okay, this is my absolute best and heartfelt advice to you. And that is, if you open alcohol rub, getting that little tamper-proof seal off the end, don't use your teeth, because that stuff is extremely horrid tasting. Maybe a eighth of that bottle there. So it was here and I put that much, so not quite a quarter of alcohol rub. So I'm gonna have to let this set and try to dissolve. Okay, so I guess because it was somewhat liquidy already, it's already dissolved. But to explain to you, first of all, why it's green, it's because I used a copper pipe, a little copper nipple, driven in the tree, and I get that's the only reason why I figure why it was green, because this bottle was actually on a black iron pipe, or a regular pipe, that was on the east side of the tree, which stays mostly in sun. And so it turned out, I kind of thought it would be, and it turned out to be the one that I got most of the sap out of. Hardly anything on the backside where it was stayed in the shade. And so I ended up with almost a half a bottle, which is about the amount, about this much, I guess, is probably, here's the bottom, so about this much is what I used in alcohol rub, and the rest of it is the pine resin. This is some Kester, which is a brown. You can see the difference in them. This right here is much thicker than this right here is. This right here is much thinner, and this is about the color of what pine tree resin would normally be if it weren't for the fact that it come out of a copper pipe. So with that said, but normally what you would have would be the resin would be 1 part, and then X amount alcohol rub. And so that's taking the place of solvents, which would normally be, or type of solvent would normally be in the resin. So you use the solvent or to dissolve the resin in, and then you put it on there, and together it helps to flow the solder on the circuit board, and the solvent quickly wicks out and dries up and goes away. And so that's the point of it. And so the Kester there is not supposed, you're not supposed to need to clean it, which it does leave a residue, but it's not a conductive residue, so you're not having to clean it. This right here, I'll find out, I'll do some tests of it if it works, which I can't imagine it not working. Then I'm going to work on different viscosities. And the reason why I don't want to go into any details on how to mix this just yet, because I want to find out what works. And when I find out that it works, then I'll give you the recipe that I've used to get to that point. So that's all I've got for right now. I appreciate you watching. I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. And comment below. Okay, so I decided it wouldn't be fair without working up the other one. So I did grab a couple more resins, and so this says it is 20 grams. Resinic acid, clear solid, 0.03% ash, made in China. So I managed to chip out most of it. There's a lot in here that I did not get. And you'll notice I even had a oopsie. That filled this container up to about, I would say almost the halfway mark. And there's a few larger solids in there, but for the most part it's about a powder. But try to get it moving around in there. And so once this dissolves, I would think that I would have a pretty thick. And so we're gonna let this dissolve. I'll shake it for a little while, but we're gonna let this dissolve. Anyway, we'll see how it comes out. So anyway, I appreciate you. I appreciate your precious time. I thank you for spending it here with me, and I hope that you come back and spend more time with me. Thank you, and God bless.